Hello, I'm Bill Gates, Chairman of Microsoft. In this video, you're going to see the future.
Microsoft became a dominant tech powerhouse when Windows PCs and Internet Explorer emerged as critical tools of the web revolution in the 80s and 90s. But as the dot-com bubble burst, increased competition and complacency around product innovation led to the dethroning of Microsoft as a market leader. Its stock went dormant for more than a decade. Now the software giant is trying to regain its leadership role with generative artificial intelligence. And Wall Street is paying close attention. On this episode of Growth Stories, we're taking a look at Microsoft's push into artificial intelligence and how the tech titan plans to use that technology to fuel a new era of growth. Earlier this year, Microsoft announced that it would be making a multi-year, multi-billion-dollar deal investment in OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT and the image generator DALL-E. The deal sparked what the media dubbed an AI arms race.
Think of Microsoft as an arms dealer of sorts.
You're hearing John Swartz. He's a senior tech reporter at MarketWatch. He says Microsoft's $10 billion investment in OpenAI is a shot across the bow to its competitors. It makes clear that generative AI technology is the future of the tech industry.
Basically, they are trying to establish themselves as the de facto company ahead of Google, Apple, Meta, and AI. And so far, they have achieved that goal.
While the hype around generative AI might seem new, the technology behind it isn't. AI chatbots have been around since the 1960s.
That man isn't playing checkers against a computer, is he?
Sure, and it plays pretty well.
Since then, we've had IBM's Watson, Apple's Siri. Some Microsoft users might even remember Clippy, the cartoon paperclip assistant featured in Office 97 and 2003. Those were all variations of AI. But artificial intelligence has moved forward by leaps and bounds since Clippy's time, with companies like OpenAI building more powerful and user-friendly interfaces that give people the ability to generate some pretty high-quality content and even write their own software code. Microsoft's big plan is to make these tools available to its 1.2 billion Office users worldwide.
What they're doing is they're integrating the technology, ChatGPT, into their Bing search engine, sales and marketing software, GitHub coding tools, Microsoft 365 productivity bundle, and Azure cloud.
Microsoft's relationship with OpenAI also isn't new. The company previously invested roughly $3 billion in the startup's cutting-edge technology prior to January's blockbuster deal, bringing their total investment to $13 billion. But what is new is how aggressively Microsoft is pushing to be out front in developing the next big technological wave.
This is really the first big, generally recognized situation in which Microsoft has taken what I would argue at least is a meaningful lead from both a market position and a technology position to drive a market.
That's Mark Merdler, a senior analyst at Bernstein Research. Merdler has a long history in computer science and called Microsoft's move to the cloud nearly 2 decades ago. He says the company has been diligently building up the infrastructure needed to help its customers leverage generative AI technology.
Microsoft really stepped up and said, okay, you want to build something? Here's what you need to build it. Here's the design specifications to build your own Copilot. That is a broad set of capabilities that is not today available anywhere else, and therefore it places Microsoft at the lead in what is the early days of the generative AI wars.
To understand just how big a deal Microsoft's AI push is, we need to take a step back in time. After dominating in the 90s with Windows, Microsoft extended its market lead with Internet Explorer, which dethroned Netscape as the most used search engine. But the company got stagnant with developing new technology.
Steve Jobs goes to Macworld and he pulls out this iPhone. What was your first reaction when you saw that?
$500 fully subsidized with a plan? I said, that is the most expensive phone in the world, and it doesn't appeal to business customers.
And quickly found itself out of the lead. That all changed with Satya Nadella.
Nadella has re-envisioned, redefined the company.
Merdler says that before Nadella, Microsoft treated its products as standalone businesses. But the new CEO, along with Chief Financial Officer Amy Hood, refocused the company to think of its business units as part of a larger whole. And his leadership has had a measurable impact. Microsoft stock has surged more than 800% since Nadella became CEO in 2014.
he changed the whole culture of the company, and changing the culture of the company changes the way they act and they think. And you see that in the fact that these guys reacted so quickly in bringing generative AI technology into so many different parts of the business. I don't think the Microsoft of old could have done anything like what was done in the last less than a year in terms of bringing generative AI to market.
But MIT professor Michael Cusimano says that Microsoft is really just getting back to the basics that made it successful.
From the beginning, Microsoft has not really been the leader in inventing and creating these kinds of products. So they've really been more of a mass market product company.
Cusimano literally wrote the book on Microsoft and its secrets to success. Actually, he wrote several of them. He says that Microsoft has typically been a slow mover with new technology for a reason.
It's kind of a little bit better to be a quick second mover and have the infrastructure and technology and services in place to commercialize these bigger developments. And Microsoft has Windows, they've got Office, they have other applications, but probably Office and Windows will be the main vehicles where they utilize the capabilities in an application like the ChatGPT.
Cusimano and his colleagues have studied what makes digital platforms like Windows successful. And he says the key to gains with generative AI is to build with a platform and not product mindset.
Bill Gates and Microsoft started out as essentially a product company making programming languages. And he thought the PC from IBM, even though IBM thought they were controlling it, would probably be cloned and become like an industry platform, essentially, for building applications and peripherals. We describe that as platform thinking rather than product thinking. They didn't try to maximize the revenue associated with the particular product of DOS or anything else that they were providing IBM. They wanted that agreement to build an industry around that core product. And that's been their secret, really, whereas, let Apple invent and come up with more pioneering products, and Microsoft tries to get the broader market.
Microsoft started its move to capture this broader market with search. Since the OpenAI partnership announcement, Microsoft has added generative AI capabilities to its Bing search engine and Edge web browser.
I'm excited for the users to have choice finally and a real competitive race out there.
That's Satya Nadella speaking to the Wall Street Journal.
The search was the most profitable category there is on planet Earth. So therefore, all I need is a few more users and someone else that I'm competing in has to keep all of their users and all of their gross margin. I'm looking forward to that.
But Microsoft isn't necessarily known for its search engine prowess. So why start there?
I guess the integration and simplicity of using Bing results within Microsoft apps is the selling point. That makes it more interesting for consumers and for companies.
That's MarketWatch reporter John Swartz again. He says starting with Bing isn't so much about taking on Google, but gives Microsoft an easy way to introduce people to its technology and gin up interest in other apps. Analyst Mark Merdler agrees.
What's interesting is in areas like search, they're not charging for it. They're taking a more traditional approach and they're trying to get mind share and market shares. It's also a disruptor. It's now disrupting the search market, which Microsoft probably feels pretty good about doing, and probably, gives back to Google what Google has done over the years in trying to disrupt parts of Microsoft's business as it changes the game in terms of search.
Microsoft is also adding Copilot branded artificial intelligence tools to its Office productivity software suite.
So Microsoft threw down the first gauntlet with the Bing chat, but the second one's going to come as the Copilots come to market.
The Copilot feature uses AI to automate and simplify tasks and provide suggestions. Copilots for Office 365 products, including Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, and Teams, are currently in beta testing and are expected to be available for enterprise customers in November.
If you're sitting in, let's say, Microsoft Exchange, or you're in Outlook, you received an email, and someone wants me to set up a trip someplace to meet with potential clients, why wouldn't I want to write from Outlook, query for that flight, and book that flight without ever leaving Outlook? And you can think of that across a lot of different applications.
Microsoft's 365 Copilot will be priced at $30 per user per month for commercial customers. While that's a steep price increase, the company already has thousands of enterprise clients on the wait list for the new technology.
The opportunity is near term, probably a little smaller than the Super Bulls believe, and bigger than the Bulls believe longer term.
And generative AI has boosted Microsoft's stock. Shares have surged roughly 38% year to date through mid-October and hit a record high in July ahead of the company's fourth quarter earnings. But there are questions about Microsoft's ability to ride the artificial intelligence wave to higher revenue, at least in the near term.
Even with strong demand and a leadership position, growth from our AI services will be gradual as Azure AI scales and our copilots reach general availability dates.
Big question in the last earnings season was, is there any tangible evidence that AI is contributing in a real sense to a company's bottom line?
That's John Swartz again. He says companies like Microsoft are being cautious when it comes to revenue projections as they continue to invest in the foundations of their AI architecture.
That's why investors are hesitant, because they're seeing all those investments by companies into building an AI infrastructure, but they're not seeing any tangible results yet.
Microsoft isn't really saying much to clarify the growth picture. During a recent earnings call, Nadella said the company probably wouldn't see material revenue from AI efforts until the second half of the next fiscal year. But what is known is that the growth opportunity from generative AI is expected to be massive. Consulting firm McKinsey estimates that AI technology could add anywhere from $2.6 to $4.4 trillion in annual value to the global economy. But they don't say by when, and that's an issue with a lot of AI projections out there. And Microsoft is betting the company on this technology and hoping AI can push the software giant over the $3 trillion market cap line.
As strong as they are right now, they do always constantly face competition from every other major company, no matter how you look at it. And now AI, they see as an opportunity to super boost what they already offer and to strengthen their position.
But MIT professor Michael Cusimano says that while generative AI is a newer technology, the fundamentals of building a successful platform remain the same.
Generative AI is just another core or enabling technology powering a whole bunch of platform applications and innovations.
He adds that successful platforms like the ones created by Microsoft are extremely difficult to unseat from their market position once they're established.
We're still using Windows, 40 years or so after the first versions of it appeared.
But Cusimano says the company will need to continue to innovate to keep its market edge. He believes the software giant's main challenge will be to seamlessly diffuse AI technology throughout its core applications like Office. Microsoft's competitors, of course, will also be aggressively burning cash to develop their AI technology. Google and Meta are heavily focused on their AI projects, while Apple is quietly working in the background on its technology applications.
Potentially Microsoft and Google and other companies in this space, they might face some challenges on figuring out how to get a return on their investments if they're throwing billions and billions of dollars into this technology. But I don't really think that's a problem because they make money from selling their products and their services. So enhancing them with generative AI is just going to make them better. And that's the name of the game.
You're just in the early innings of this. And Microsoft is really working hard to be involved in as many of those opportunities as possible.
And Merdler says there'll be plenty of growth to go around for everyone.
There will be more than one winner. Microsoft may not be the biggest AI vendor in some segment of the market. They're going to be meaningful in many segments, and that's going to drive the opportunity here. This is not as they say, a one-trick pony. This has got lots of legs to the Microsoft story, as does AI within Microsoft.